That logo. I don't know if I've ever seen that logo before. If that was in King's Quest 6 or Police Quest 3, I've completely forgotten about it. Alright, we're here. Space Quest 6, Roger Wilco in the Spinal Frontier. Just to emphasize this, I've said this a few times throughout the playthrough, but I'm going to say it again. Apart from reading a review many years ago, which I don't remember much about, I'll talk about that in a sec, and apart from 5 minutes of testing, figuring out the first puzzle and walking around and going into a building, I'm going into this game completely blind. I never actually played this back in the day. I don't know what to expect here. The review that I read suggested that the puzzles were very obtuse, and I did see something in the manual, which I will show later in the playthrough when we presumably need it, which actually has like a puzzle solution in there. It's super weird, and I do recall reading some weird comments on the GOG Galaxy page about puzzle solutions and things. We'll see how this goes. I'm really not sure what to expect here. But let's just go start a new game. And yeah, I'll skip past this. I've got no idea what this is about.
The StarCon Federation has reached its decision. Roger Wilco, please step forward.
I haven't actually watched this yet. What was attached to your leg? Fingers crossed.
Roger Wilco, you have been judged guilty of the following crimes: abandoning your post, deviating from mission parameters, misuse of StarCon property, disintegrating a fellow officer, perpetrating a sequel without authorization, and consorting with a female of higher rank.
Beatrice.
Do you have anything to say for yourself before we pronounce sentence?
Can't you guys take a joke?
Do you have anything intelligent to say for yourself before we pronounce sentence?
Decent response.
Nope.
Very well. It is the opinion of this tribunal that as punishment for your crimes against the StarCon Federation, you are to be decommissioned. You are hereby stripped of the rank of captain.
So much for that SAT score.
You are no longer an officer of the StarCon Federation. Your enrollment at StarCon Academy is hereby terminated. However,
Dude's got a body. Never mind.
due to your successful return of the SCS Eureka, your rescue of the Goliath's crew, and the fact that nobody gets rid of stubborn mildew stains and black heel marks as well as you do, we are returning you to your former post with StarCon Fleet.
We're a janitor again.
You are hereby ordered
Jesus
to resume
Christ.
your duties immediately as janitor second class on board the SCS Deep Ship 86.
That sounds ominous. Why were we stripped off? That was super weird. I'm trying to think what all the various crimes were. Disintegrating a fellow officer? I assume that's referring to Quirk. But as that person noted, we saved StarCon. We saved the Federation. We saved the universe. Some reward.
Attention all hands. This is your commander speaking. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your fine performance during our recent episode, A Stitch in Time Saves Gamma 9.
Tell me that's not supposed to be a Kilrathi.
So, thank you, Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's about 25 people
As
on
a
the ship.
gesture of appreciation, we're putting in for shore leave on Polysorbate 60. Enjoy yourselves and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Kielbasa out.
Commander Kielbasa.
Meanwhile, in a deserted warehouse just outside the galaxy.
Oh, it's so good to hear your voice again. We heard it in Space Quest 4 and I've missed it.
I don't care how you do it, gentlemen, so long as his body is intact. Do you understand?
Yes, we got it. Yes, right. Yes, right.
Good. Now, I believe you'll find him here, on Polysorbate 60, on shore leave.
Oh, that planet is wobbling. Holy crap.
Okay, I'm ready. Energize!
We've teleported, but we did not teleport correctly. We are stuck.
As we join our hero, Roger Wilco, he has just been transported to the surface of Polysorbate 60 to enjoy a little shore leave. Apparently, there was a minor glitch in the process. Well, at least you got here with all your important parts. Your hands, your mouth, and your stomach.
Oh, great! Real wonderful. Nice beam job, you metallic piece of scrap. Jeez, this is snug. Real snug. You know, it actually makes me feel kind of good. I remember when I used to wear my mom's well, never mind. No time for nostalgia. I've got a serious extraction problem to work out first.
Game's going in already. We're here, we're just missing our legs and our nether regions. Nothing important. So, this one looks very, very different to all of the other games in the series, simply because all of the other games had a full screen interface. I mean, yes, you have these black bars on the left and right hand side, they've always been there, but the whole screen has been taken up by the, I'll call it the playfield. If you wanted to do something, you pushed enter, maybe you went up to the top here in Space Quest 4 and 5 to look at the menu options. Here though, about a third of the screen is occupied by this interface down here. And I'm not sure this is really to anyone's benefit. Yeah, these buttons here, feet, eyes, hands, mouth, these are exactly the same as the icons from the previous game. So feet is walk, eyes is look, hands is manipulate. Actually, we can tell if we do this. Yeah. That brings up the feet cursor. This cursor allows you to move around Roger's world. It's not your world. It's not anyone else's world. It's Roger's world. The eyes button brings up the eye cursor, which you may then click to get a description of that item. Allows you to pick up items, open or close things, push or pull, or manipulate them in some appropriate or inappropriate fashion. Charming. The mouth icon, if you click the mouse cursor on a person, you will talk to that person. If you click it on an object, you might chew it, lick it, or perform some other mouth-oriented action within reason. Thank you for clarifying that, game. And pockets is a bit weird, but that is the inventory button. Click it at any time to see what you're carrying with you. Yep, we just saw that. Save or restore games, change volume and speed, and some other stuff. Have a look. Hurry now while supplies last. Okay. Yeah, had a quick look at those and made sure those are all on. These are all at super weird values. Normally you'd expect all of these to be at 100 or something. Or maybe just 99. Alright. Let's have a look around. Where are we?
You're back in your comfy, reassuring janitorial duds. It looks like someone or something got just a little two-faced and wrecked a perfectly good Loadster 750. The Pinto of Polysorbate.
I'm so glad the narrator's back. Space Quest 5 was an ordeal, just editing that and trying to make it work. I think I did okay on that particular playthrough, but it was very, very stressful.
Hey, that one looks familiar. It lacks a bit in the stature department, though.
Yeah, it looks like a Gonk droid from Star Wars.
This guy looks like a vertically challenged Darth Vader. What does a thing like that do for fun?
Oh, you misspelled Vader. I guess you had to though, otherwise you might get sued.
Bootlicker appears to be open for business. The Cyclops Club doesn't appear to be doing business. The buildings around here have seen much better days. This must be the old part of town. If it isn't, you'd hate to see what is. Bearing signs indicating the names of the streets which create this intersection, a light pole illuminates the area. What a mistake that is. Like anyone would want to see more of this place.
Yeah, it looks super dingy.
Hey, that one has some legs. They're kind of spindly, but you sure have no room to criticize. That's an interesting piece of hardware. Your normally dim power of recollection actually recalls having seen a picture of one of these in the ship library. Get this, it's called a bike. People used to actually get on these and use their own muscles to achieve locomotion. What losers. Upon closer inspection, you notice some sort of ID card hanging on the frame.
Ooh. But you say that like we don't have two legs and we don't use those to walk around right now.
That's an interesting
That ID card.
Your reach is about as great as your personal depth.
Great line. Love that.
Seldom have you had the good fortune to get to know a street so up close and personal. You feel you have a real bond growing.
Sector 6, for a good time, call Altara? Can't read that.
Bootlicker appear. This is an interesting billboard. You can't help but wonder what this Altera company markets.
Altera. What else we got?
Seldom have you had the good... So this is the location you were so fortunate to draw for surface leave. What a dump. And you thought Xenon looked bad. This place is in serious need of some janitorial expertise.
That's not why we're here.
Ah, but that's not your concern.
Yep.
After the ups and downs of the last couple of tours of duty, you can really use the R&R. Time to give those buffing calluses a break. At least that's what you hope.
Absolutely. Not our concern, not our problem. That's not why we're here.
Fire burns inside barrels along the streets. Apparently those using them are residents of planets a bit closer to the suns that they orbit. The temperature seems quite moderate to you, but then you do fancy yourself a studly guy. Too bad no one else shares that opinion.
What does studliness have to do with temperature tolerance?
You'd think, if indeed you did, that a guy with the skin quality of a pachyderm wouldn't have a problem with this climate.
So I married an endodroid. In the first test that I did, this actually showed Space Quest 3, The Pirates of Pestilon here.
Rats! The cinema appears to be closed. You were really hoping to see Tango and Cash 27.
Sounds like the narrator was laughing there. I'm not entirely sure why.
Rats! Rats! It hurts your eyes to look at that. In fact, you feel a major headache coming on.
Ooh, I wonder if that is the generic, you can't look at this thing. Like you've put it out of bounds or something and it doesn't have anything creative to say.
The buildings around Bootlicker up. Seldom.
Alright, let's try talking to these people.
He wisely ignores you. He seems totally unfazed by your sorry attempt at communication. You're no Bruce Dern, buddy.
I don't get that one. Alright, so the Darth Vader boss, or the bot that looks like Darth Vader, is going to walk past in a moment. Try having a chat to him. And yeah, I definitely know how to get out of here.
Your reach is... It just hums along, oblivious to your presence. Don't you hate that? It just...
We need to use our hands on this robot that walks past. And that is going to help us pull out of the ground. Out of this cement, concrete, whatever it is. It's a very strong robot to be able to do that.
Thank you, my good man. Yikes, I hope everything came out with me.
Well, let's see what we've got. We have...
It's your trusty whisk broom and dustpan.
Why would we bring that with us on shore leave? You can at least leave that behind.
That's your current Buckazoid collection.
I assume that's the game's way of saying we have one Buckazoid. The score. I did have a very quick look online to see what the total score was because I couldn't find it anywhere shown here or anywhere else under control. I didn't see any of the objectives, but I know that the total score is 500. So maybe that'll give me an idea for how the game's going. Right, we can walk around now. We can use our legs for locomotion.
Yes, you actually left a cool-looking mold of your lower torso. Well, actually, it's not that impressive.
But is it cool looking?
It doesn't want you to do that. Sure, you've been in space a long, long time, but it might pay to be just a little more discriminating.
Can I touch any of these droids?
Don't touch that. We don't know where you've been. Your words are so unspectacular, nature doesn't even see fit to grant it an echo.
I can't actually approach this dude. It's like I'm stuck on this 2D plane here in line with this edge of concrete.
Deep inside, he chuckles to himself with the thought that you think he might actually care what you have to say. It just hums along.
Alright, so what is this ID card?
That's an interesting piece of hardware. Upon closer inspection, you notice some sort of ID card hanging on the frame.
Can I see the ID card before I grab it? It looks like that thing there.
That's an
Alright.
Upon grabbing the ID card, you notice the picture on it is of a rather homely-looking alien type. Guess everyone can't be as fortunate as you.
Who that?
It's the alien ID you snagged from that rusty bike. That's a fairly hideous picture of the former owner. It makes the average Department of Motor Vehicles photographer look like Ansel Adams.
Who is Ansel Adams? That is another reference that I do not understand.
The street seems to reflect the same care and sense of community.
Oops.
The street seems to reflect the same care and sense of community pride that the rest of the area enjoys.
I thought that might have been a manhole there, but no, we
Don't
can't.
touch that. We don't know where you've been.
We can't interact with that little circular thing. Alright, we have a boarded up door here.
The buildings around here have seen much better days.
Yeah, I've walked over to the left, I've walked up there, I've walked around, and I entered a building on the left. And that's basically as far as I got. I could potentially walk inside the bootlicker building there.
The Cyclops Club doesn't appear to be doing business.
That's there, but we can't go inside, and we also can't enter the cinema.
Rats.
It actually says closed there. Alright. What is inside bootlicker? And why on earth are we taking shore leave here? This place is a dump. Alright, so I don't recognize you from any popular franchises.
This little fleshwad looks familiar. You wonder what he's doing here. Must have been a victim of the telecommunications wars.
Cute. Have you got a phone that I can give this guy?
Hawken sits behind the counter by his favorite possession, something he values greater than his own life, the cash register. Pa's been in business for quite a while, as his grizzled look might attest.
What's your last name?
Pa Conshohocken sits...
Conshohocken.
A camera covers every square centimeter around the clerk just for security measures. It's amazing what kinds of crimes people will commit to get some of Pa's special stock. Pa keeps some of the more expensive stuff back here, like Jurassic Dark, Raymond E. Feisterbrow, and Samuel Douglas Adams.
Oh boy. I'm not touching any of that.
Convex mirrors give the proprietor a nearly total view of the whole store. He's able to keep an eye out for thieving, low-life, scum-sucking maggots who might try to liberate some of his stock minus payment. Right now, he thinks you fit that profile.
We didn't come down with anyone. We're just here on our own on this dump. Some sort of ice machine?
Were it working this device, it, as noted on its top, would supply ice.
Newspapers?
A stack of papers lay unattended on the floor. Apparently, Pa doesn't get in a big hurry to put stuff away. The headline reads, Lindbergh baby kidnapped. Interesting magazines like This Old Planetoid and The Babes of Polysorbate occupy this space. Not a good idea. First, you're on R&R. Secondly, based on what you've seen so far, you really don't have the stomach for the Babes of Polysorbate.
Don't know what to make of that. Can I grab a paper?
You really don't need those.
Nope. Alright, can I talk to you, Pa? I've forgotten how to pronounce your last name.
Hi there.
Howdy there, partner. The name's Pa Conshohocken. Yeah, that's my name. I'm the proprietor of this here establishment here. Now, anything I can sell you, why, you just let me know. But if you steal anything, I'll be forced to kind of kill you. Welcome.
That sounds fair.
It sounds extremely fair, and I think that's maybe the first way that we can die.
So, Pa, what's the stuff behind you?
Oh, that, eh? Why, there's the good stuff, sonny. I got some real fine stuff back here. Oh, yeah, I do. That's cold Orion brandy. That's what that is. Best available in these parts here. Now, it's way out of your price range, I'm sure. It goes for 20 buckazoids per. Got the 20 there, Buster? Otherwise, you can swill thruster drippings with the rest of the deadbeats around here. I don't mean that in a bad way, mind you.
Alright, so that, I think, is a dead end. If we can find 20 buckazoids, we can pick up some cold Orion brandy.
The shelves of this interesting establishment hold just about every kind of swill a buzz junkie could want. Of course, whether or not you would survive this stuff is another question.
Does it really matter?
The shelves of... Your mouth waters at the wine coolers, especially this wild Roddenberry-flavored stuff. Then again, a nice frosty Harlan Alison, a cold-filtered Beers Anthony, or a Marion Zima Bradley sounds good about now.
Is that the entire shelf?
The shelves of... It's Ursula K. Le Guinness Stout, a perennially popular refreshment and winner of last year's Nebu Ale Award.
This is all different, isn't it?
The imported stuff, like Sap Purnell and Major Kirin, is too syrupy for your tastes. There's no slowing down with a Silverberg bullet tonight. These cans of Heinleinekens have been sitting here since Lazarus. Heinleinekens, the strange beer in a strange can.
Yeah, I don't drink, so I know there's a lot of references here. I don't understand all of them. Definitely understood the last one, though.
Your mouth waters at...
Wine coolers.
Look just behind the cans of HP Love Draft and
Oh,
Kilgore
for God's
Stout.
sake.
They've got a few cans of Meister Brautigan, the only beer made from watermelon sugar.
I am toying with the idea of streaming a HP Lovecraft game at some point in the future, but it's a while off.
This little flesh wad looks familiar. You wonder what... Weekends were made for front lobe, and you wouldn't mind removing a few yourself.
What else we got?
Ooh, you've got a good eye. This stuff is excellent. It's called Something Wicked Ale from Ray's Brad Brewery. These appear to be bottles of Alan Dean Foster's draft ale, but it's hard to tell because the labels are so faint. They must have been printed in draft mode.
Oh, God. No one will understand that reference.
It's just some green stuff.
No one will understand that. Game's too old for that.
This is the interior of Bootlicker. In keeping with most of the rest of the area, there is absolutely no frills in the decor.
Can I walk over to the left, or is this it? I'll come back for you in a sec, dude. Looks like that's it. Alright, so what is your story? Can I touch you inappropriately? Oh, I can. What? Once again, I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Your words cause everything to become speechless. How dynamic of you. You drool in that direction, but no one notices. You start to say something, and then you remember that you're supposed to be a man of action, not words. Or is that the other way around? Your utterances fall on uninterested oral organs.
Got the 20 there, Buster?
Alright, so E.T. did not render us mute. But we can totally touch him. Man, that'd be an interesting remake, seeing E.T. turn into a drunkard.
It's most uninteresting.
Alright, so... True flies. God. Where did that just come from? I did not see that on my testing. Yeah, so if we can find 20 Buckazoids, we can potentially spend them there. What is this?
It's one of those new Kodrak mobile photo booths.
Really?
I heard they were beta testing those.
Again, no one will understand that reference.
It's one of those new Kodrak mobile photo booths.
Kodrak. Alright, let's see if we can go inside. Can't spell.
It's one of those...
I see a coin slot outside, which is concerning. Can I go inside? I don't think I can get in there.
It's one of... It's unmoved by your touch. It's
Can I potentially use my Buckazoid on it? I can.
You pop a coin in the slot and climb on in.
All right, I'm looking pretty good. Fire away.
Alright, it doesn't appear to be a suicide booth.
There's got to be an optics problem with that machine. I look partially digested.
Alright, we got 3... What the...
Good thing you didn't opt for that second set of prints after all. Guess that guy won't be filing any complaints with the Portable Business Association.
I don't even know where to start with that one. Wow, okay. I thought it might have been a suicide booth from Futurama. Mind you, that was well after this game came out. But no, apparently it was just a horrifying creature in disguise.
It looks vaguely like your hiney after it's been chewed out by your boss.
Charming. I assume we need these for something. I can't think of a better use for one Buckazoid at the moment, so... If needed, I've got a save game, I can recover that one Buckazoid. But right now, I think it might be time to move on.
The dumpster is nearly the cleanest item in the area. And you thought you were a slob.
Can we go dumpster diving?
That wouldn't prove fulfilling.
Unfortunately not.
Don't pick... That's delightfully non-helpful.
Yeah, there's quite a few non-interactable interactions here. Looking at various things that you can't look at and playing with your mouth and your hands and stuff like that. Alright, let's go up. We have an arcade. Oh, what's
The
that?
guy looks like he could really use a visit to Supercuts. If the thought of how he might look underneath didn't cause you to involuntarily retch, you might even have paid. Now this place seems to be a little more interesting. Messy, but interesting. Noise emanating from the two establishments here indicates there might actually be something fun going on inside. A mechanical traffic light diligently maintains control over the nearly non-existent traffic in the area.
Why would you need a traffic light here? It's literally just a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn, depending on which way you're coming from. It's a corner. If it was a three-way intersection, then yeah, traffic light would be useful. If it was a four-way intersection, then it would be very useful. But at the moment, this is literally just a bend in the road.
This guy looks like he should be standing watch around one of those barrels. He has a bit of a nervous look about him.
There's so much detail around here. We have Orion's belt and we have an arcade. I assume BZ there means Buckazoids.
Hey!
I wonder if you... Nah, what was I thinking?
Hey!
Buddy, maybe you can help me out. I'm trying to track down this Ender Droid. I'm an Ender Droid runner. I know I don't look so hot, but I'm in disguise, you know?
In disguise? Yeah, you do look disguised. I just don't know what like. Hey, here's a tip. Think seriously about a flea dip.
I could really use your help getting this one. I've had a hell of a time tracking him down. You've gotta help me. Tell you what, if you can find and immobilize this bionic beer opener, it's worth 50 Buckazoids to you. What do you say to that?
Bionic beer opener.
I've scoured this dung heap and haven't seen synthetic hide nor hair of him. All that's left to check is that bar. I'd go in there myself, you see, but I've had a little misunderstanding with the management. No biggie. I'm sure it'll blow over soon. Anyway, can you help me out? What do you say? 50 Buckazoids. And if you don't mind me saying it, you look like you could use it. So how about it?
Well, I don't know. What's this Endodroid thing look like? And why do you want it?
Well, he's about your height, only maybe a few inches higher. And I'd say about your weight, give or take 60 pounds or so. But then that's just probably because of that stuff he's made of. Kind of a liquid metal thing, but that's not important. He's got a crew cut, and I think he was wearing a long, dark coat. Has a strange accent.
But why do you want him?
Oh, he made some people mad.
How?
None of our concern.
Oh, I guess he sort of jumped out of his program and kind of killed and or mangled a score or so of co-workers and, more importantly, management personnel. A big no-no.
You can kill the co-workers, but
No
management?
big deal.
No.
I just gotta take him in for analysis and processing. It could help pull me out of my unfortunate cash flow situation. And most importantly, it can mean 50 Buckazoids for you. What do you say?
What's the catch?
Well, I could use the Buckazoids. I'll see what I can do.
Great. You won't regret it. You're gonna need this data quarter. It's been modified to only be sensitive to certain unique components like droidium, something only an Endrodroid would be composed of. This'll help you root him out. Good luck. Let me know when you've got him. Thanks. I gotta go check in with the home office. I'll check back out here a little later to see how you're coming along.
But thou must. We had no choice. I assume that was a Blade Runner reference. I haven't actually watched Blade Runner yet. It's on my to-do list, I promise. Lane.
It's that runner guy. This door doesn't appear to have been used in quite some time. With the exception of the strip here, this place is nigh on to being a ghost town. The flaming barrels remind you of the good old days, kicking back in the sandy outback of Corona, roasting grell burgers over a lit rocket nozzle. Life was so simple then, but then so are you. Apparently, some things don't change.
Have we visited Corona more than once? Because we definitely did not do that on Corona back in the day.
Some inconsiderate slob has littered the streets with the debris once contained within this barrel. If only you'd gotten here a little earlier, you could have been the inconsiderate slob. Better luck next, thief. Another Orion's Belt franchise. That's one place you have yet to be banished from. I'll bet that's the finest neon sculpture on the whole corner.
It absolutely is, and apparently this is a bar.
The Flaming Bear. This guy looks friendly now. Try to keep it that way. The pilot of this craft employed a truly creative parking technique. By the looks of it, they'd been a patron of Orion's Belt immediately prior to executing this fine parking job.
Drunk? Ah, I see. So it is actually a three-way intersection here. It's just kind of hard to see this road here.
The only way customers could see out of that place is to break some holes. That's some seriously dirty glass. Heck, it might not even be glass. The constantly dripping atmosphere could have carried down corrosives which ate away the glass, leaving a mineral-like residue behind. A petrified window, if you will.
Alright, I won't look at the arcade side just yet, apart from just back here in this thing.
Sometimes it's hard to tell which looks stranger, the ship or the being piloting it. You won't know in this case, though, since this seems to have been abandoned for quite some time. Now, this place seems to be a little more interesting.
We're saying that. I think we'll check out the interior of the bar first, if we can. Alright, can I have a chat to you, sir?
Hello, Mr. Bouncer?
He pays very little attention. You're pretty used to it. But someday...
Someday we will get the love, respect, and attention that we deserve.
Hello, Mr.
He pays very...
Alright, so can I go inside? Or are you going to stop me? Doesn't stop me.
It would appear that once again, vice is a bit more profitable than most business ventures. This place is almost too hip for the planet. But then, that's no mean feat, given what a total heap this place appears to be.
It's a total heap, but I count at least 10 people in here. Not including ourselves.
So this is where Sinead O'Connor's been hanging out.
You can't say that, game. Sinead O'Connor passed away in the last week. You can't say that.
Looks like this big furry dude is laying out his best Orlanian pickup lines for the Ice Queen. It appears she's not fielding any of them.
Look at this thing. 3 heads, and you can see its heart beating through that window.
Yikes! I'll bet even old Fester Blatz hasn't seen one of these.
Fester Blatz being the merchant on Feelabart in Space Quest 3.
Impressed by his own perceived magnificence, this wannabe babe magnet stands and just radiates cool.
While also scratching his ass.
You recognize the uniform of the Fistal Hemisphere Alliance. This guy has an interesting cranial configuration. Unlike that popular trunk-bearing pachyderm on that planet Earth, this guy seems to actually be drinking through his trunk. That means he's drinking through his nose. Yuck. This rather large individual with the headphones seems to have tuned this place out.
Can we walk over to the right? I have regrets. We can go up there. I wanted to see, oh man, look at her feet.
Now there's an interesting look. What can be said that isn't painfully obvious?
Tell me about it.
That she'll look better come closing time.
Once we're all hammered, right?
It's one of several people dying to get into the restroom.
Ah, okay.
It looks a lot more detailed than it did in Space Quest 4, that's for sure.
Where was the restroom in Space Quest 4? Give me a moment, let me think. Yeah, I do not recall any restrooms in Space Quest 4. There was one in Space Quest 2 for certain, but Space Quest 4 we had Volhor's Revenge, which there was no restroom there. You had Latex Bays of Asteros. Still can't believe they did that. Which had no restroom inside the mall or inside the facility. Yet Space Quest 1, there are definitely no restrooms there. And that's it. There were no restrooms in Space Quest 4, so I really don't know.
What can be said that isn't painfully obvious? You display your standard blank stare, but it is unimpressed. You are... This is the main floor of the Swank
I
Lounge,
can't see it again.
Orion's Belt. This seems to be where things are happening for the slightly seedier beings of the city. As you can see, there's a pretty good cross-section of the regional population represented here.
Every alien looks unique.
This guy's the next in line for the restroom. He looks a little anxious. This guy wishes he had a clothespin right about now.
Cute.
Yep, it's the fourth guy in line for the restroom. Definitely standing room only.
Alright, so I guess we can get in line. Maybe getting in there is going to be a puzzle. Not sure.
What a boss blender. I'll bet they can make all kinds of foo-foo drinks in that. A wide variety of concoctions fills the shelves behind the bar. There's probably something there to provide a buzz for just about any organic system. Some of your personal favorites: Babylon 45, Watney's Red Planet, and Starbeck. Starbeck. It makes you go where no man has gone before.
I don't know if I can comment on that or not.
This is the main floor of the Swank Lounge. This is the refrigeration unit blends well with the design scheme. Hey, when did you start knowing things like that?
Alright, what of this four-armed bartender?
A quick look indicates that the bartender is physically well balanced and adroit. A good combination for this profession. The shirt would further indicate that he has the mentality for it.
Alright, how about I just make a save in case we get into a fight? And I have a chat to some of these aliens. And or the bartender.
What can I do for you there, fella?
That accent.
What have you got?
Well, aside from the obvious stuff which is glaring in your face from the back wall here, I do make some mixed drinks. I mean, if I do say so myself, I make a pretty mean William Gibson and a pretty good ass-em-off cocktail, you know what I mean, huh? Hey, I got you. Try a fuzzy toe jam. They seem to be pretty popular with your particular species here.
Is it free? Okay, so we can choose a couple of things here.
Okay, you got it, pal.
But you're going to charge me for it, aren't you?
This is the data corder you got from that endodroid hunter dude.
Alright, I asked for a drink. You said you got it. I don't see it here.
What can I do for you there, fella? Okay, you got it, pal.
He's not making the drink, he's just continuing to rub the counter.
Hey, back off here! Only trained professionals like yours truly are allowed to operate the Turbo Mincer LS, huh? What can I do?
What about the other choices?
Okay, you got it, pal.
He's not actually doing anything, though. I don't know if this is because we are officially broke or something else.
Okay, you got it, pal.
I asked for a drink, but he's not actually making the drink. Alright, what about the other people here?
She acts as though you don't exist. It's a familiar feeling. Their conversation continues uninterrupted by you. Can't you see he's working the room here? He's expecting a babe stampede any minute now. His lifespan, no matter how long, will never be enough. But hey, a guy can dream. Your words are so unspectacular. You drool in that.
I can't talk to that dude with the 3 hearts.
No one here is interested in conversing with you. Get used to it. Don't take it personally. Maybe it's just a species thing. Your utterances fall on... He can't hear you, and more importantly, probably doesn't want to. No one here is interested...
Maybe the only person I can speak to here is a bartender. We can get drinks, perhaps, but that doesn't appear to be working right now.
You start to say something, and then... Your word. You get a jump on senility by mumbling to yourself.
Oh, we've all been there.
I wouldn't risk talking to one of these folks. They might just turn to face you.
How do we grab...
Geez, Roger, when will you learn? In the past, that kind of behavior has led you to being sliced, diced, compacted, compressed, pureed, digested, inverted, carbo-gelatinized, and other stuff just as interesting. It's a little early in the game to be getting your can creased.
It's never too early in the game to die. Where? How do I get the drinks out of this dude?
What can I... Okay, you got it, pal.
I'm very confused. That sound effect.
You probably wonder where that goes. Don't pick at it. Don't. Hey, don't. You probably wonder where that goes.
Can I not go there?
Well, that wasn't too bad for a borderline physical specimen like you. It didn't quite get the job done, though.
We're just kicking in this door. Holy crap.
Nah, you still haven't convinced the door to yield to your obviously superior physical presence.
And no one here cares?
Wow, you really did it. Not exactly the subtlest of entry techniques, but effective. That's pretty macho for the likes of you. Who would have guessed you'd have the makings of a Starsky or a Hutch, or a Tango or a Cash?
So many references.
You go now and I don't rearrange your organs.
The Endodroid.
It's the Endodroid, and he's repairing himself. Yuck.
Alright, I need to make a save because we need to see if he can actually... What is it? Endodroid? I can't spell. I need to see if he can actually rearrange our organs. I assume this is just a basement for the pub.
You found your way to the not-so-spiffy basement of the nightclub. Numerous stock items are stored down here.
Nightclub, pub, whatever. Oh. Yeah, crew cut, blonde hair, taller than us.
Yeah, that's a great improvement. Look much better now.
Well, he did warn you.
He did.
I'm not going to say he told you so, but he did.
Did again, eh? Well, you've only died once in this game, but I've died plenty of other times.
It's the Endodroid.
Can I move towards him to see what's on the left-hand side of the screen before he ambushes us? No. That's a cool animation here.
Yeah, that's a great improvement.
Well, I'm not going to say...
He's basically ripping us out of our skin. That's... Oof. Can I go... I just want to see if he insta-kills me when we walk back in here.
You go now and I don't rearrange your organs.
Alright, we can't go down there yet. We can't investigate that place. I did, however, find the Endodroid, which means maybe we can report back to the runner.
This is the data coder you got from that Endodroid hunter dude.
Oh, what the hell?
This button scrolls the information on the data coder's LCD view screen in a downward fashion.
So what do we do to our thumb? That blackened nail there and that bandage.
This button scrolls the information on the data coder's LCD view screen in an upwardly appearing fashion. The reconfigure button will reset the internal chips, plates, and IRKs to standard data coder setup. Use this button if you have rearranged the components and wish to restore them to their original positions.
Oh boy, we might be looking at the manual.
This button opens and closes the data coder's faceplate.
We might be looking at the manual very shortly.
This button turns the data coder on and off.
Alright, so maybe what we need to do is activate this thing and then get close to him so that we can record some information.
you want to open it, you'll have to find the button.
So there's 11 choices there.
You have successfully reconfigured the data coder for standard use. Don't open the data coder when it's switched on. Doing so could damage some of the delicate internal components,
Capacitors.
such as your central nervous system.
That too. Yeah, this rings a lot of bells, unfortunately.
Didn't that Sally Struthers Learn at Home course teach you not to stack components on top of each other?
But where can I place it temporarily? Like if I wanted to swap these around.
There's already a plate in this socket. Please remove it before attempting to insert a new plate. Thank you so much.
I've definitely seen this thing mentioned in the manual, so we'll need to take a look at that very
This
shortly.
circuit board is not user serviceable. You don't want to void the warranty, do you? Hey, don't put your mouth on that. It's a circuit board, and a darn good one.
It's a complicated one.
This is the data coder power source, a tiny chip of Devallium crystal, the official power source of StarCon. This circuit board,
We could just straight up pick it up and put it in that inventory. Holy crap.
it's a piece of Devallium crystal.
So if I switch it on now,
You should close the faceplate before turning the power on.
I assume it won't work.
Sorry, Bucko, the data coder won't work now that you've removed... Sorry, Bucko, the data coder won't work now that you've removed the power source. You'll have to put the Devallium crystal chip back.
Alright, so... what do I need to do with this? The runner gave this to me, and I presume I need to use this to record an interaction with the Endodroid downstairs, so that we've got some proof that we've encountered him. I would love to know how I can swap...
You missed! Ha!
There we go.
Didn't that Sally's...
So at this point I can start doing stuff like that. Okay, got it. Understand.
You missed! This circuit...
This looks complicated. And yeah, I believe the solution for this is actually in the manual because they couldn't put it inside the game properly, according to some of the comments that I read on GOG. Let me hit reconfigure here.
The power must be on before you can reconfigure this unit. You have successfully Don't open the...
I assume that rearranges everything here. Back into order. Alright,
You're...
how do I move away from this?
There. You...
Exit. Alright, so if I can figure out what to do with that, I will need to come back there and maybe try using that near the Endodroid. What is this arcade here?
Sweet sentiments, urban style. Ah, an arcade. You haven't been in an arcade in at least a sequel or two. How cute. It has a really big replica of a coin slot.
Yeah. Ah, yep, there it is. I'm looking at that thinking, yeah, that's not a coin slot, but there's totally one outside. And we haven't been to an arcade since Space Quest 4.
The streetlight adds illumination to an area that really would be better off without it. The street names look familiar. Must have been something from a past life.
Alright. Let's go inside. If we can. I don't see an exit thing there. But I don't see an exit thing there either, so yep, we're good.